recording in progress. We're good to go. Good to go. All right. Hey, everyone. So we've been on hiatus for how many years? 7, 8?
At least 6.5, 7, yeah.
Yeah.
We're older. We'd like to think we're wiser. And yeah, we're back in a slightly different format. So maybe just we'll just kind of discuss, I suppose, what we're going to be doing going forward, which is just we're each going to pick one movie a month and basically talk about it. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Shane. That's Ben there, and the lovely Dylan is there as well. So yeah, it'll just be us three basically every month, hopefully. And yeah, I don't think there's any. We've kind of discussed it previously, but I don't think there's any limit to genre or what we're going to be watching. I think it's just whatever we pick, really. It's not going to be limited to horror or sci-fi or fantasy, but I suppose for the most part, they're probably the genres we watch the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Oh. Yep. So this month, what do we choose? So I picked Barbarian. Dylan, you picked Terrifier, and Ben, you picked Duel. So I think we'll just start off maybe with what do I have written down here. So I have Duel first on the list. So give a quick background. So Duel is a 1971 movie. It's written by Richard Matheson, directed by Steven Spielberg, and stars Dennis Weaver. So what did you guys think of Duel?
I thought it was I watched it when I was young, and I just remember it being like it was one of the first movies that I watched, and I was like gripped by this, like there's no real story to it, but you're gripped and you follow the entire narrative throughout of this truck just going after this random guy for no reason. I just thought it was very well put together. Rewatching it now, you can tell it's made for a different audience, like the 70s is a bit more slower pace. I mean, there's a scene in the middle where he's sitting in a restaurant for 20 minutes and all the thoughts are going through it. But I doubt that made the original cut, because the original cut of the movie was only 74 minutes long and the theatrical release is 90. So I think they added a lot in for the actual film version of it.
That's what I wonder, because it was a TV movie.
Yeah,
I think so. Maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, it was so successful that they just said we're going to release it in the cinema, so they just added a lot in. I've heard. I went through forums and read it, and they said the original cut is just tension from start to finish, like there's no break. So
okay.
That diner scene probably didn't make it. So I don't remember ever seeing it before either. It was still quite good though, because he's just trying to figure out who the driver is, and yeah, it's kind of odd. But yeah, it was brilliant. What do you guys do?
I really enjoyed it. The diner scene was a bit like, "Hey man, he knocked my sandwich."
What does he say, Dale? What does he knock it off, okay?
Yeah. And so there was a bit like, he'll buy a beer, he'll buy a beer. And but other than that, it because I really like that kind of road tension movie, because there's some really good examples of that, like the Hitcher and things like that. That genre, I think, is one that still has tons of potential, but it's very niche to the 70s and 80s. We've kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Apart from the diner scene, which just the inner monologue didn't particularly do it for me, is we're gonna have to put a spoiler warning for a 40-year-old movie, but just towards the end, right? Do you know when he's bumped into other people and they're like just abandoning him on the road like he's a sweaty lunatic, and he has the opportunity to drive right up beside the truck, and he's there, and he just doesn't get out of the car to say who the fuck it is. It was like the only thing where it was a bit like,
come on.
It was a bit like, that was your opportunity to just literally just knock him, take the keys or something out of the thing. But other than that, I thought it was again, I really like that style of movie, because again, you've got the Hitcher, you got Death Race, that kind of genre. Road tension, I think, is really, really good, and we don't do it enough now, because I think if someone tried to reprise that kind of genre, it would do very well.
Yeah, it was. It's an amazing first movie by Steven Spielberg. It shot it in 12 days, and the truck never went above 30 miles an hour. It was just the way he angled the camera. It made it look like it was going really, really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty well done. What do you do? What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I really liked it. The cool thing was that I'd heard of this movie and I knew Spielberg directed it, but I didn't know anything about the plot, so I went in completely blind. And I was the same as you guys. I was just on edge pretty much the whole movie, bar the diner scene. It's like I just thought that the sound design was amazing. It was really, really good. Like when something as simple as that, it really has no right being that tense. Like it's just a car chasing another car. But like you said, the way they did it with the camera angles, everything like that just felt like you were there in the car. I agree with you completely, both of you, on the diner scene. Like I just wonder, even it's not so much the diner scene; it's the way they did it. Like I wonder, was there any need for the inner monologue? Could you have gotten across what he was thinking by just camera angles or camera shots or like I was trying to think of another movie that's done something like that inner monologue wise, and the only thing I could think of is Fight Club. But Fight Club is good because it's kind of like it's the kind of comedic aspects of his character that's talking through, and like that's brilliant. But I just didn't see the point in having it for this movie. It just felt really, really weird, and like maybe it's just kind of like stuck in, like you said, Ben. Maybe it was just that wasn't in the TV movie, and then when they did the theatrical release, they just added that 15-minute section in. It's not a long movie either,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's 74 minutes for the original cut. It's like, Jesus, it's very short. It's like a long episode of a TV show. I'd say that the inner monologue part is probably the style at the time. He does a bit of it in the car at the start. Well, I love the opening scene where he's listening to the radio, and there's some radio program on about a woman's place in the home and a man's place in the home. And the man's feeling demasculated or something like that. And I think that sort of ties in with he's having a phone call with the wife later. And the wife's giving him shit. And I think he's trying to rush home. So that adds to the tension that there's a deadline for some business meeting or something that needs to make. So yeah, I thought it was very, very well put together. Apparently it was a book, was it? That was turned into.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
No, I
do
you
know what? You're dead right, because I actually thought that was really interesting when I saw the name flicker up who had written it, Richard Matheson. I was like, I know that name. He's written I Am Legend. He wrote The Shrinking Man. So if it's the same Richard Matheson, then he is an author.
Yeah,
so probably was
here from I'm Legend, The Last Man on Earth, The Omega Man. I suppose, like probably for this sort of format of a podcast, we probably should have given us brief synopsis of what the actual movie happens in it.
What? I had it written down actually. It's like, because I got it from IMDb and it literally just says, what is it? A business commuter is pursued and terrorized by the malevolent driver of a massive tractor trailer, which I mean pretty much gives you the
in
a nutshell.
Yeah, it opens.
But there you go. Just do that again, but just do the clap thing where you're like, now this is what the movie is actually about.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. What did you guys think of Dennis Weaver as the lead?
That was very good.
Yeah, I flicked in and out of kind of. Again, it all hinges on that diner scene when he comes out of the car, and he's like, it's looking like he's just had like 10 vodkas as opposed to a life-threatening car chase. But other than that, I thought he was very good, in particular towards the end of the movie when you can see how stressful, really, how much it's taken a toll on, because he is kind of going mental, that he's being chased by this massive thing. I thought he was very good in that regard, and in particular, like that on the phone with the wife, where you're going, it meeting in that tension of like, he's not. In many ways, you would look at him and think the stereotypical kind of 70s gonk.
Yeah.
Do you know? And so I again, apart from the inner monologue and the romantic scene as he's picking out who is actually the truck driver for 15 minutes, because that, like, we're probably going to keep talking about, but it got to the point where it was a bit like, he's picking his a date or something. All these scenarios. But
do you guys maintain that the truck driver was in the cafe, or was it just coincidence that the truck was parked outside?
That is coincidence.
Yeah,
He was
he
never
was
in there.
in it. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of gathered that as well. There was one guy who looked a bit shifty at the bar, but yeah, no, like I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't buy into it.
That was a massive appeal to me when I originally watched the movie years ago. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? You don't even know what he looks like. You know,
Yeah,
he's just some random truck driver. And the only glimpse you get of him is at the end where he changes the gear,
Mm.
shifts the gear, and you just see his hand, and then he goes over the cliff. You know, that's the only glimpse we get. The end of the whole truck going over the edge could have been done a little bit better, but I get it. It's a TV movie, didn't have a big budget. So they're
I
just
didn't know
yeah,
it was a
this
TV
truck
movie.
on
that's what.
slow motion. And then it says, through the entire movie, it says, does it say flammable on the back?
Yeah,
And it doesn't
and
even
just
I was
explode when
thinking
it
the
goes
same
over the
thing.
coast.
Do you know what? I was reading about it on IMDb, and it was because the budget was so low they could only afford to do that jump once. And you'll notice, I'm sure you guys notice when the truck goes over, the door is open
Yeah.
because apparently the stunt driver actually had to jump out before it went over the cliff, and that's why Spielberg wanted no explosion, because he wanted to show that there was actually a person inside and he was bleeding, and he was, well, you would assume he was dead. So there was a reason behind it, but I think obviously it's not a supernatural movie or anything, but I think it would have been better to never see the driver, like never see his boots, never see his hands, never see anything, and have that ambiguity run throughout the movie. And even when it goes over the edge, you're like, well, like, was it a person? Was it like, is it like Christine, where it's like a demented
Just
truck?
a
That,
truck.
Like,
that is exactly what I kept thinking throughout this whole movie, that it wants to be like from a Buick 8.
yeah,
And like I was just like, do you know what? But then every now and again you get like a little shot of this lad who kind of looks like Chris Farley driving the truck. Where
Every
he
now and
just
could have
then
been
you
a
see
different
this.
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the thing I think that really got to me, where it was like, this wants to be like, this begs to be like Christine.
Hmm.
Or what was the one he did in the 90s? It was a TV movie.
With the cars coming.
Um,
No, but it was with a circus truck. It had a massive clown face on it.
Jeez, I don't know.
that I don't know. Are you thinking of, was it the TV movie that they had some sort of like, was Pennywise a truck or something?
No, it was another one. I'll find it later.
I thought kind of as well. I don't know. I don't know why it popped into my head, but at the beginning with the truck following them, all I could think of was Jeepers Creepers. Do you know when like the truck's following them? I was kind of thinking of that as well.
Same style of truck, probably kind of influenced, let's say. You know?
Yeah.
Did you see the remake in 2002 with Paul Walker?
Maximum
Oh
Overdrive.
God.
Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. You said there's a remake in 2002 with Paul Walker.
Yeah, Duel 2002 remake. I can't remember what it's called. Let me Google it here. It's I remember seeing it when it came out, and I remember thinking it was all right.
I suppose the stunts and that were probably a lot better, but I would doubt it's as kind of tense as
sure, it's not
one.
Spielberg directing, so it's a bit more hand up, you know.
You can definitely feel like it's similarities to, like, it's just great about Spielberg is he knows when to slow things down and he knows when to speed it up. Like you said, that could have been just an hour of just mental tension. But like you can kind of see how he ended up doing things like Jaws and Jurassic Park, because they are like, I mean, you could nearly argue they're nearly family movies almost, but like they're really, really tense. Like like I only rewatched Jurassic Park recently again, and that T-Rex scene where you first see it and it like flipped, the cars flipped, like that's just pure genius. And like you know,
sorry, go on there.
No, you go ahead.
He only did Jaws like 2 years later. It's pretty much the same movie except with a shark, you know?
Yeah.
Just the tension of being like, you don't even really see the shark underwater. It's just this mysterious sort of bad guy just hunting down these people. It's the same sort of concept, you know, except bigger budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. The Paul Walker version is Joyride 2001. And
what's it on IMDb? What's the score?
Oh, I don't know. Who's in it as well? Lily.
Never to be rated.
Let's see. Reception. Critical response. 74%. Not bad.
That's not bad. I've never even heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. It's called Roadkill over here.
Oh, well, I've heard of it, but yeah, never seen it.
No, I've never heard of Roadkill.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite. I think definite kudos to Dennis Weaver for coming off as insane. I was
Did you think it
laughing
was
so
good?
much
Yeah.
towards the end. Do you know, after like the truck goes off the end and he's just kind of running along the desert, just looking down at the truck. I was cracking up laughing. I was like, he's gone full insane and he's definitely losing his job.
How do you
He's never
expect
gonna
the
meet that
wife to
client.
get home? Like, what were you doing? Like, this truck was chasing me. You know, I love
Yeah.
the school bus scene where he's like freaking out and the kids are like
Yeah.
making faces out of the window. And the kids kept jumping on top of the car and he's like, get off, get off.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'd say I really enjoyed it. That's definitely like I'd rewatch that again for sure down the line. Like it really is.
Cult 70s like horror and thriller movies that I haven't seen. So I might just delve through that decade and see what else there is, you know.
Definitely. I had to think about kind of what I wanted to do for next month's one, and I think there's a few kind of 70s ones sprinkled in there, so I'll probably make a decision later. I tried to like when I was picking them, I tried to go through the streaming sites because I know it's easier to than like having to, I suppose, like stream it or like illegally or download it or something. But yeah, there's a few that I've got that are, at least if they're not on the streaming sites, you'll get them on YouTube anyway.
YouTube seems to have a lot of movies.
Well, yeah, YouTube movies at like £4 and you've rented it for a month, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, I had to watch Duel that way. Oh no, did I watch Duel? Yeah, I think I watched Duel on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but no, that was a good one, a good pick, Ben. I have to say.
Are we going to rate it, or are we just? Is it just a discussion?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think we give it personal ratings.
Yeah, one to 5, or
yeah.
I'd
put that. I'd put that up there as that's a solid 3.5 for me. Had the diner scene been taken out, it would probably be higher.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. You know, just to round it up.
Yeah, I think I did completely agree with both of you. I'd go 4. I think the diner scene definitely takes it away from being higher for sure. Well acted, well written, well directed, and for a low budget TV movie, it's even more impressive, you know. And it hasn't aged badly either. A lot of that stuff can, especially if you haven't seen it before. Like, you know, you said you'd seen it, but you know, having come into it, you know, 50 years after it's made, that's aged really, really well.
Oh, great! I didn't know what you to think of it because I remember thinking it wasn't as good as I remembered, but yeah, I still really enjoyed it.
No,
cool.
I really enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised how much I enjoyed it, but then it reminded me of all those other movies that I really enjoyed that are again in that kind of road tension genre.
Yeah, but you're dead right though. It's kind of like a dead genre nearly. I don't think there's been anything really similar to that type of movie. I don't think
there's
not off the top of my head anyway. 21st century movies, I can't think of anything.
There is one movie which I can't remember the name of totally, so bear with me 2 seconds, that I've seen, and it's like that. It's kind of weird road tension. Is that no, that's not it. Yeah.
Did you say that Paul Walker one was called Death Race, Ben?
No, Joyride.
Dead End.
Roadkill. Dead End.
Dead End.
Dead End. It's basically this family are on their way to a family function. They see a woman in the road, and it just gets weirder and weirder from there.
Interesting.
We'll have to look it out. 2003.
Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. And I remember I saw it and I thought that I really enjoyed it. No, it's been at least 20 years since I've seen that movie. Could be utter tripe.
I hate when you recommend a movie like 20 years, like you haven't seen it in 20 years. Oh, it's great. And then somebody goes and watches it and you're like, what? Or else you rewatch it before they've watched it and you're like, yeah, don't watch it. It's shocking.
I can't remember who it was I told about watching like because I used to watch Willow a lot when I was a kid, and somebody watched it
Yeah,
recently, and they were like, "That was absolute garbage." I was
because
like, "Well,
that's
like you haven't
just
seen it before, so
no, that's just because they have no taste.
I've never seen it. I might give it a watch and let you know what I think. You know?
Willow is amazing, and you will never change my mind on that.
it's peak Val Kilmer."
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
watched on a side note, I watched the new Top Gun on the way home from holiday. It was very good.
I thought it was great. I
Brilliant,
really,
yeah.
really liked it.
Really
Yeah,
liked it, yeah. Excellent, yeah.
Tom Cruise handed up quite a bit. The bar scenes, like there's so much cheese in it still.
There's a
You know,
lot of
like
cheese, but it doesn't feel overdone, you know? I thought it was
no,
it was nice. And the ending was brilliant. Fucking
yeah.
unreal with the jets flying through. Anyway, we have
I think
7
I heard.
minutes left of this meeting. I got a notification there before it ends
Okay.
automatically. We can try and hang up and join again to see does it let us start over if you want.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably best. Yeah, because if we're going to be starting the next one, you know, you don't want to be cut off halfway through.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Grand. Okay, so we just leave and then.
Yeah, I'm going to end it here. So
okay.
just everybody leave and I'll invite you to another one now, okay?
Yep. Cool.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, man.
Bye-bye.